Hello, that's the wrong. I did it again. I keep going to the wrong scene. This is the correct scene, and that's the wrong image. I was going to open us on a terminal world. There we go. The symbol for the actual stuff we're doing today. Because I just completely messed up.
So what is the terminal world?
The terminal world. Well, first of all, it's this spell card. We're talking about the lore of this one spell card, Dennis. It's very, very good lore. It's a spell card and it has an arcade machine on it. Which, from the perspective of how Yu-Gi-Oh cards tend to be, so that's depicting the real world arcade machine digitally. Wacky. But otherwise,
Wacky.
to give a brief history lesson, Duel Terminal was as you probably go surmise by now, an arcade machine in Japan, where you basically just get to play Yu-Gi-Oh against the AI, and if you win, it gives you new cards because Japan managed to somehow made arcade machines even more monetarily sketchy by adding prizes.
Well, at least gives you a reason to play.
Does. Well, except for the fact that most of these cards in Tool Terminal aren't actually that good. But, so they had standouts. But nevertheless, we get started. So to set the scene, Duel Terminal, originally, was a world made up of many tribes. Which, I'll get into why that seems iffy as to why they're called tribes. But, then, as you could probably guess, like the human race is wont to do, they're at war with each other all the time because they just want more land. That's it. That's no actual conflicts that we can tell. Just Maland.
Maland.
Maland. I want more land. And that, of course, like any good story written by a patriot, was brought to an end when aliens invaded by crashing to the earth. With this very first card, the the W Nebula Meteorite. And here we see how the worms made their way onto the planet. Now tell me, Des, what's off about this art? Given what
What's on about this art?
What's odd about this, given what I've told you already?
Is it supposed to be a worm head or something?
No, the idea of this is just the worms go through an evolution, so this is essentially they're still just the ooze inside of it. But fucking oops, wrong thing. Fucking scientists, tribes, scientists in hazmat suits.
You know, the hazmat tribe?
Hazmat tribe. But this is a hint as to what the worms do. It'll make sense when we get to the very end.
What about the crystals on the top? Is that like
I think that's just like worm shit. But not as in shit, but as in just like worm stuff.
Okay.
You'll see as we actually get to look at the worms, which we will right now consider. I'll go into the actual factions in this as they are introduced. Of course, starting now with the worms, which, fun fact, are all named with one letter of the alphabet each. And of course, we'll go...
Oh yeah, worm has every alphabet. Clever.
But of course, we start with the first letter of the alphabet, Apocalypse. With Worm Apocalypse, the lowest...
That looks like a sausage.
It does look like a sausage. This is the lowest of the low of all the worms. What this looks like to me is, what if Beaker from the Muppets, but also Squidward? That's what I see with Worm Apocalypse. Which...
Is he like slapping you or something?
or whipping? Why do his tentacles look like giant, like... What's the things you stick in your ears to clean your ears?
I don't even know.
This has set a very bad precedent because Apocalypse is far too impressive a name for this thing. Just this thing, this noodle with like exposed bones. Give me a moment while I get to their organizational structure, of course. But of course, as they are generic invading aliens, the worms evolve over time because this is. Oh shit!
That muscle on their legs.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Ugh.
They have muscle on their legs, but they have completely just clear tentacles. Not clear, but as in
Ooh.
soft.
So weird.
But the worms, being an XP of the aliens from Evolution, great movie, evolve over time. But of course, they all come in their lowest states first, like Apocalypse here, and unfortunately, they aren't in alphabetical order as with power. So I'm going to have to immediately break. I keep messing up the wrong. Actually, no, I won't. I'll just go alphabetically. And next we have Worm Barces. Which
That is a wrestler.
That is, yeah. One thing I question is why do some of them have clothes and some don't? This is
Is that belly button the star shape?
this is the thing if he was also an egg with 4 arms.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, as you might have known, due to a specific member, lots of worms have these vertical mouths. And as you can probably guess, Konami censored a lot of them in the West. Because, you know, Vugu. But this is Barces, the next in line. It is actually of the lower class. Wait, there's the lowest class, like Apocalypse, the lower class, like Barces here, and then the upper and uppermost. But
Wait, so there's no middle class?
no. Wow, true to life, am I right?
Oh.
But we're already into the lower class with Barces, and another lower class with Worm Carteros, which now we're actually starting to get into the aesthetic, I feel, a bit more. With this Mothman with he should take he should just moisturize a bit. That his eyes are looking a bit crackly. Also, it looks like
What is that pose?
it's just intense. He feels such hate with his moth wings and moth abdomen.
So is this the Mothman of Yu-Gi-Oh?
This is the Mothman of Yu-Gi-Oh. This is
What is the Mothman? All I've understood is that it's like Bigfoot, but
yeah,
it's like it's a found footage thing.
The cryptids. Like cryptids are the found footage type of myth where it's like, they definitely exist. Yeah.
Bigfoot, but in Europe he's Big Meter.
Big meter, actually bigger. And now we move onto the letter D with these names are like we started with Apocalypse, actual word, then we had Barces, Carteros, and now Dimicles or Dimickles. The pickles.
The pickles.
And he watched too much Naruto because he wanted to be a tailed beast.
Does he have a mask or something? Or is that just like
Chitin, I think.
Ah.
And this is another lowest class, meaning this thing is even lower than an animal.
Wow.
This is just like all of the lowest class are apparently just nothing at all.
That's kind of impressive.
Impressive that I can show this much emotion for something that apparently can't think.
Yeah.
Now, oh goody, we have what I feel is the poster boy of the worms. Worm Erokin. He's a big boy. He's a big slimy boy.
Does he have fins on the back?
He has the. It's best to ignore the backs of like more liquidy worms because I mean the entire idea is that they're like goo creatures that fuse together over and over. But they're not a fusion archetype. They're just.
Are they like a
just normal monsters?
Equip or Union?
No, they're just kind of normal monsters. They have a fusion monster, but they're not a fusion archetype.
Wait, so what's their gimmick in the game?
They barely have one. That's the point.
Oh.
They are light reptiles, and a lot of their stuff revolves around just supporting light reptiles. But otherwise, they are just. Why is his feet so small? It's a good thing they evolve. Huh?
Between unions and equips, anyway, don't they do the same thing?
Union is essentially. Well, yeah. A union monster is a monster that becomes an equip, whereas an equip is just generally also covering spells.
Ah, okay.
But for the most part, worms do nothing of the sort because they are just they're just a hot mess, as as Worm Erokin here is kind of proving with his half solid form. He looks like he's posing for a picture.
Well, I guess
It's his dynamic pose. He also, wait, no, he looks like a football player. This, if The Rock was the football, he's doing the like American football player pose.
So worms are big American football player fans.
Yes, worms are worms are a metaphor for modern America. But now we have, is it another lowest? Oh, but by the way, Worm Erokin is of the upper class, which means this thing can think.
No, I don't believe it.
This one is more intelligent than this. This is dumber than this.
Nah, that can't be real.
This can't be real. But now we have yet another with the F, Falco. My favorite Smash character. He's looking a bit worse for wear since a new Star Fox game hasn't come out in years. It looks like a skinned chicken, but like they haven't taken the head off.
Yeah.
But this is on the same level as Apocalypse. No thought whatsoever in this creature.
Well, I can believe it for this one. This just looks like maybe a
If this was
dumb bird.
If this thing could think, it would be in constant pain. I think that applies to most worms.
Yeah, you're right.
And tell me, Dennis, what comes after F?
Gamer?
Yes. Worm Gamer. No, Worm Gulse. Gulse? G-U-L-S-E? Like pulse, but G?
Oh, gulls.
This is like the animal that would become Erokin. The snot monster. Why are they so disgusting half the time?
It looks like, I don't know, he had a slime bath and someone walked in on him.
You're not supposed to see me like this.
It's not what it looks like.
What bothers me is that this is like mostly a bear, but then it just has like human-like head.
It is pretty weird. I thought the worms would be
Like,
worms.
no, why would they be worms? Leave that to all of the other worm creatures in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are actually called worms and technically part of the archetype. But we're not covering them today because this is more story.
Oh no, not again.
No, we're not today, Dennis. This is story time, not the idiocy that is Yu-Gi-Oh! But next, after Gulse, is back down to the lowest of the low, with Worm Hope.
Hope?
Yes, Hope. Like, why is it like humanoid, but it's apparently can't think? What the?
It looks small, with a golf club for a head.
Golf club for a head. Like hold its two legs together and swing it.
Yeah.
This is a flip monster because, God forbid, you have consistency. But
What is it trying to be?
I don't know. When I didn't know the lore, I had the impression that, oh, like, this is like their last ditch attempt to fight against the people defending themselves. Like, when the worms are pushed into the corner, they have worm hope. It's their hope. But no, apparently it's just like a mindless little drone that does nothing.
Maybe Hope was ironic.
It's just one of those ironic names. But, what this reminds me of is, you know the Castlevania monster Legion, Dennis? Have you ever heard of it? Well,
Symphony of the Night?
It's in Symphony of the Night, but it had a different name. It was called Grand Falloon in Symphony of the Night.
What's it, that thing where
The big ball.
like the bodies on it?
Yeah, the big ball made of bodies. In
Ooh.
one of the Castlevania games, that's the super boss, which is supposed to be done once you've maxed everything out. And
Ooh.
to actually make it a super boss, it isn't just Legion, but it breaks down and you see the nucleus inside, which is just a big... It's just this. This is what's inside Grand Falloon when it reaches its final form.
I don't remember what was inside it, but I believe you.
Well, I mean, in Symphony of the Night, it was just like a ball. There wasn't anything really. But in
So that's why I don't remember
in
much.
Curse of Darkness, they gave it a second form, which was
I see.
this generic humanoid shape that looks like it could probably stretch. And now we have my favorite World of Warcraft character, Worm Illidan. That's the one voiced by Liam O'Brien. He does also look like a dragoon.
He looks like if a dragoon and a Sahagan got fused.
Sahaj. This is apparently the symbol of how worms evolved as they're getting combated, because supposedly when the war started with all the other races, they just started losing because of course they'd lose if what they're fielding is apocalypse and hope and Dimicles. Tommy
Why does it have
Pickles.
spikes all over the place? Is this like a crystallized thing?
Spikes mean strong, Dennis. It's combat strong.
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
Although actually looking at it, it might be the evolved form of hope. Because if we look at we see these all the lights in the chest as hope has. We see the general head shape minus the spikes. Kind of looks like hope. So
But what's the lore for this one?
it's just like this one can think. This is after it's like enough combat has happened with the worms, and they just decide, oh, let's start evolving to something that can actually defend ourselves.
Ah, I see.
Which why would you? That's I know like they're supposed to generally be mindless, but as far as an invasion plan goes, let's send our lowest light forms to this planet, and they'll eventually get around to being able to beat the things. But unfortunately, we have to go back to yet another worm taking a bath. With worm Jetelix Jetelikpse.
Is that part of it, or did like someone drop paint on it?
He's running away after getting doused with boiling oil. I feel sorry for this one. It doesn't seem like he knows what's going on. Although I presume he did.
With the background, it does look like he's running.
But like the background in his pose, he's up like he ran up to a castle wall. They poured the tar on him, and he's just like, "Oh no!" Runs away. He also appears to have wings under there. He'll never fly again, Dennis.
Is he like a ball with wings or something?
I think it's like just a generally like light bulb shaped body. If that's the impression I get, light bulb with arms and legs. And also a face. It's convenient.
Ew.
Yeah, so this is our villains for the very first arc of Duel Terminal.
Well, they are creepy looking.
Creepy, but half of them like delve into pathetic.
Sausage apocalypse.
Sausage apocalypse. But before you go thinking that the worms aren't at all impressive, we have, of course, the top of the food chain, Worm King. Which is... This was the one that really got the censors to step in.
Oh.
But what I don't get then is, okay, you remove the mouth. Now it's just got two eyes on its crotch. Why?
Why not?
What do you think of the design of Worm King here, Dennis? Does he bring the aesthetic together in an impressive enough way?
He looks like a rock monster or something.
Nope, they're light type.
Cringe.
They're all light type reptiles.
So this is the king.
This is the highest of the regular worms.
Wait, what do you mean regular worms?
Oh, we'll get into that, Dennis. Don't worry.
Oh no.
But also, he's got an apocalypse in his hand.
Oh no.
I didn't realise how big he was supposed to be. Oh, jeez. Now that I'm reevaluating his size, he's actually quite impressive to think of it.
That poor sausage.
Poor sausage. The king wants a snack.
Mm.
And now, as if to just give us whiplash, we're back down to the lowest of the worms with the worm links. Oh yes, the worm link monster. No, the worms will never get support again, especially because they use all 26 letters of the alphabet. But this is what do you call a fly without wings, Dennis?
A Yankee with no brim?
You call it a worm, apparently.
Is that true?
No, you call it the joke's a walk.
Okay.
But it
Looks like an ant with two heads.
like
And
it's a two-headed like fly wasp thing with no wings. It's only like that's its elbow. And it's just got so much unusable arm. So this travesty of evolution. Oh, we're getting
What? Why? Why?
Because this is
Is this like one of the lower class ones?
this is the lowest class along with Apocalypse. But now
Yeah, I can see it.
we're on to Worm Milledith, which is just that's a boss from Pikmin, as far as I can tell.
Looks like a giant spider or something.
And this one has wings, but definitely wouldn't be able to fly.
It would fly and then fall back down.
I just imagine it flying with all of the the legs just like hanging underneath it,
Yeah.
like a dragonfly if dragonflies flew like while looking up at the sky. This is, unfortunately, that's a higher level of evolution than the Lynx. And then Apocalypse. Poor Apocalypse. But now we get back to the upper levels, the ones that can think again, with the Worm Noble, which I think is supposed to symbolize how the worms fuse together to become more newer beings. Because you can see all the shit on its back. Although I get the impression this is just like a guy wearing sandstone armor of some sort. He fashioned himself a suit. Although, I mean, I feel it goes against most of the designs for the other worms, given that it has like 4 different colours. Which is just a bit eh. It is level 6 though, with 1500 attack. This thing is weaker than Summoned Skull. Did I mention it was a flip monster? Because that's a relevant type of card in Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays.
All right. So, what is this?
This is Worm Noble, which is, I feel like, the fan art worm because it kind of doesn't fit a lot.
I don't think any of the worms fit with each other.
I don't think they fit with each other, but generally they all have like a similar thing where it's like, oh, just the one color, and like they don't interrupt their own design. Whereas this thing, I suppose, is supposed to look like it's just in the process of becoming the Worm Noble, so it's not exactly homogenized. He's very skinny.
Yeah, he should eat something.
Should eat something like this egg boy worm opera.
That is. What?
Allah. That's all I hear when I look at this thing. Do you think its head inflates as it like inhales and then it just starts deflating as it lets out its opera noise?
And I didn't need that in.
What kind of evolutionary advantage does this have?
Yes.
Singing. The best evolutionary weapon. This is actually like a SpongeBob character.
It's like a hairy lemon.
Hairy lemon. Oh, it is a lemon. And speaking of lemon, orange with the Worm Prince. He looks just like his father. If his mother was...
Check out the apocalypse in the back.
Oh, God. They really are Squidward. I've seen Squidward do all those things in SpongeBob. He also looks like he's about to lay down some sick raps.
Yeah, it does. Is he like tall, or are the apocalypse just really far away?
Well, given that the king is big enough to hold an entire apocalypse in his hand, I'd say the prince is at least somewhat bigger.
Probably.
And he'd like, ignoring the legs, he does just look like a younger orange version of the king. He's very angry.
Hey, yo, what are you saying to me?
The fuck you say to me? Come over here. Me and my dance troupe. Yeah, he really is a rapper. Just he's a rapper named Prince. The artist formerly known as Prince. And now we have his mother, the Worm Queen, which is just a spider.
Spider with.
And she's. Whereas the king was holding an apocalypse in his hand, the queen is holding a Dimocles in her hand.
Is that like her snack, or is she gonna throw it?
It appears the queen has no mouth whatsoever. I presume that you just throw it. Which, of course, the king, queen, and not the prince are the highest level. The prince.
Wait. What?
The prince is on the same level as the Aerokin of the upper class, whereas the queen and king are both uppermost class, but we haven't gotten to the third uppermost class. But before that, we have Worm Rakuya. Which this thing's just. This is your Ribena taking revenge. It comes out of the earth to take its revenge for all of its black-currant brethren. And I also don't think this one got censored. Which is just... You censor the king, but not this. I guess because it's not on the crotch. I guess because it doesn't have a crotch.
It's just liquid.
Liquid. And speaking of liquid, next is Worm Solid.
What?
Help him. He's trapped. He looks so distressed. He doesn't know which way is up. Also, why is it like a triangle-based pyramid?
It's just like I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think he is just stuck.
And I believe, because of what I know, I don't think this is a natural form for a worm, because I believe there's another card that shows them capturing a worm inside, I think. So this is a failed worm. This worm got caught.
Wow. Pretty bad.
He's a failure to his
Imagine
race.
If you evolved, but you actually just became liquid, and then there's just this glass formed around you.
Exactly. What if you became a modern life lava lamp? An alien lava lamp. And now, of course, worm tentacles. They didn't even try.
It's lemon.
It's 11, but also kind of the Pope. I kind of get the Pope Mitre look from his head.
Ave Maria.
Also, it looks like... I don't... Like, there's a cheese quality to his tentacles.
Oh.
Or, like if that's not cheese, it's just, like, something solid, and then this is cheese melted on it. Why do all...
dyed his hair.
All the low-level worms look like food. No wonder the king and queen are going to eat them.
I guess.
But now we have... Oh, boy. With the most perfect name of any worm. The letter U, Dennis. What word do you think they chose for the letter U? Because...
Just the letter U on its own.
No, they chose... It's Worm Ugly. And boy is he. Boy is he. I feel sorry for this creature.
It looks like a floating ball.
Kill me.
It looks like a brain, but with goo around
It's a brain covered in goo, but it's got too many folds. It's the opposite of smooth brain.
Ew, wrinkly brain.
It's just like, my life is pain. Kill me.
What are those things on the bottom? Are those hands?
I believe these are like its limbs. They're just like little nubs. Whereas that's all just like goo dripping off. Because this disgusting creature.
It is pretty ugly.
And given that these are like taxonomy names, like these are named by the people fighting them, they just took a look at this. That's Worm Ugly. That, like all these other things, no, they're fucking runway models compared to this thing.
Apocalypse and ugly.
And now we have the final uppermost level worm, Worm Victory, and boy does he love victory. So much so he's giving you the finger guns. Out of all the worms, I feel like this is a wrestler in worm form.
Didn't we just see a wrestler like with B?
Oh, the Barsies. The Barsies is the wrestler that's supposed to come in and get beat up by this one. Because wrestling is totally not scripted at all. But why did some of them, like obviously the intelligent ones, they have such character to them?
Because ugly is ugly.
But like, is Victory, like, is he a celebrity among the worms?
Probably.
Like he walks through and like, gives the king, "Yay, king," with the finger guns.
Why is this one called Victory?
Who knows? It doesn't even have any attack.
Maybe just
Also,
from the B and...
it's a flip monster. It's a level 7 flip monster.
Why would you ever set a level 5 or 4 plus?
I can accept a level 5 and 6 because just the one tribute maybe has a good flip effect. But sacrificing 2 monsters for 1 flip effect.
Nah, man. Use Soul Exchange or whatever
In a deck that doesn't rely on flip effects. But nonetheless, now we have yet more proof that the worm evolution is not perfect. Worm Warlord, help him. He got mixed up.
What?
He got
What is that?
He got mixed up.
It looks like he fell down or something.
Like they're not like interchangeable arms. Like that is a left and right arm on top and bottom. Like he's just help him, fix him, make him into the true Mike Wazowski he's supposed to be.
So this is what the worms think evolution
Should be.
is to get to like the perfect being.
And yes, this is sentient. Poor
Oh my
this
God.
poor creature.
Is ugly sentient?
No, ugly is the lowest, thankfully. So it doesn't have to feel shame. But notice, this has flat herbivorous teeth. This is not a predator. And I mean, how could you expect it to be?
Yes, the worms care very much for dental care.
How the fuck does this thing move? Like it goes from one foot to the other waddling. And it punches like just extending both fists. Is this just the Dragon Ball Z fusion pose?
Why isn't this one called ugly?
Now we have just abstract worm Zex. Zex. And also spoilers for Y in the background. What is this then? Is this a fidget spinner? Is this what fidget spinners have become in the year 2020?
I don't know what I'm looking at. It's like it's a ceiling fan on the moon. Well, it has goo on it and it has like a mouth and eyes at the end.
Yeah.
Well, what is the Y creature doing? Is it like, oh shit, what's going on?
Well,
over
I
there?
believe for whatever reason these two are paired because now that we move on to Worm Yagen, you can see Zex is over there in the background. It is just the same picture from either perspective.
That's so cool. Continuity in Yu-Gi-Oh!
But also, what the fuck is this? This is
disgusting.
This is going against what I said good worm design looks like, where they have just the one color. This is green, yellow, orange, red, brown, purple.
Is that hair?
It's just tentacles. It's like a tree.
Ew.
Oh wait, this thing's effect actually is based on Worm's X. If the only monster you control is Worm's X, you can special summon this from your graveyard in face-down defense position. If you do, remove it from play, yada yada. When it's flipped face up, select one face-up monster your opponent controls and return to its hand. It's a terrible Grand Mole. It's just a terrible Grand Mole.
It's a grand mole.
The mole from the Neospatians. But that's it, Dennis.
Oh, yeah.
That's it for the regular worms. Because now we hit what is the most loreful of them all. The beginning and the end of the worms, which is Worm Zero. Which actually, I might as well show you the spell card that shows its creation. Worm Call. Where the worms open a giant portal and bring the whole planet through.
Oh my.
And again, tribes with skyscrapers.
Is that the elemental hero tribe?
Oh no, Neos! The poor man. He can't fight against Worm Zero.
Actually, is Neos a Neospacian as well?
Yes.
As an elemental hero?
He's Neos. He's Neos and an elemental hero, whereas Neospacians are Neospacians. If you get how that works, I think. I don't. I'm bullshitting. I don't know. But here we have the beginning and the end of the worm life cycle, which is Worm Zero, where they just cover an entire planet, and then that planet shoots out a meteorite. Now,
like the way it has a skull on.
Exactly.
Whatever that is.
This is. I mean, thinking about it from the perspective of just how apocalyptic that would feel. Just a giant slimy moon coming out of a portal in the sky.
Poor elemental heroes, man.
Yeah, their city's getting covered in worm goo. Because Zero keeps leaking.
So, is this the only fusion?
This is the only fusion. This is their fusion monster with... It has no attack and defense by default. Whereas it gains 500 attack for every different fusion monster with a different name in it. Or every material. And,
wait, what?
Yeah, and otherwise it gains more effects based on how many you used. Up to 6+. So to get the most out of this card, they expect you to fuse 6 monsters into it. 6 different monsters.
No way, man. No way.
And it has to be 2 or more reptile type worm monsters. So you can't even substitute for the most part. You have to use a worm deck for this thing.
That just doesn't sound very good.
But that's the worms. That's the alien invaders that caused the warring tribes to stop warring. Because, I mean, what's more threatening than a bunch of goo?
With a skull face?
With a skull face. But now we get into the actual tribes themselves. Tell me, Dennis, pick one of the elements from Yu-Gi-Oh! And we'll start with that.
Neos.
Elements, Dennis. Not light, because
Uh,
worms are actually the light ones in this.
Oh, okay. How about dark?
Dark.
So the opposite.
Which goes to... no, not those. Those come last. They have to come last. So pick one of the normal elements.
Okay, wind.
Wind. Very well. Then we start with the Mist Valley. A tribe of bird people. Because that's how things work, I guess. But before that, we have a side card that's part of the lore that is related to them, which you might recognize from your earlier days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was quite a very well used synchro card, which was Mist Worm. That was a dual terminal monster. Do you recognize him, Dennis?
I feel like I should, but I don't.
I feel like it's this and Acid Golem, like, stick in my mind. But nevertheless, this is the worm that causes the Mist Valley to be so misty. That's it. Like, this worm spends its day going through the valley, just farting all over the place. And that makes...
Wait, so how come the worm isn't in the worms deck?
This is worm, W-U-R-M. So it's
Yes.
it's not a dragon, but it's not a worm. It's a worm. It's not a worm, it's not a worm, but it's a worm.
Forgive me. I did not know.
Also, it's not even a worm in any sense because it's got legs.
Wait, really?
Yeah, look, you can see it's got like centipede legs. It's more of a caterpillar than anything.
Oh.
But this creature
Creepy.
is just like a wild animal that is relied upon to keep this valley hidden. Which I feel is not...
So are all the wind monsters like synchro summons?
No. This isn't actually part of the archetype. It's fringe relation.
Well, how do you summon synchro summons again? I forgot.
You-
Is it like you need a tuner monster and then you match the level or something?
You need a tuner and any non-tuner monster, and the levels of the tuner and the non-tuner combined have to make the level of the synchro.
So it's like ritual, but better.
That's everything in the extra deck, Dennis.
Yeah, you're right.
Even when they make rituals good with an archetype from Duel Terminal, it still kind of got outshone in general. It was meta for a little while. But for now, we get to look at some of the Mist Valley things. Where, if I can go and find the section, Mist Valley. The inhabitants of the Mist Valley, who are led by the Thunderlord, who I just showed before, which is this guy. Ignore the thing that's broken apart in his hands. That comes later. I don't like that he has bird legs. Seeing muscled bird legs bothers me.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Like,
Is he wearing like?
no, he just has he has a feather loincloth.
Is that part of him?
It blends in, so I'd say it is. It also looks like he's got 3 belly buttons. Like
Yeah.
he's just got 3 red belly buttons up through his chest.
So what's this guy deal?
This is the leader of the Mist Valley. He is, ooh, me strong warrior type. Me do things because honor. That's it. That's his character.
That is how the Mist Valley attracts a mate.
Ah! But generally, the Mist Valley is made up of just birds with like birds and bird men. Like the Mist Valley Watcher, who is just posing for a magazine cover. But still, as you can see, he has bird legs because he's a bird.
Why does he have glasses?
I don't know. He's probably an owl or something. Oh, he's a normal monster. He has lore. Descendant of a family that has served the Mist Valley Watchmen over the generations. Never missed a single thing that happened to the valley, no matter how minute shouldn't be spelled the same as minute.
Yeah.
But it is. So he's never missed anything, no matter how minute.
Matter how many minutes? Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
Are those his eyebrows sticking out behind the glasses? Feather eyebrows?
Ew.
How do you think having feathers would feel, Dennis? Especially if you're not even fully covered in them. Like, just like some coming out of your arms like that.
Probably scratch my skin.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that part of the body would be very healthy, even. Because kind of the idea of feathers is to cover up completely.
Yeah.
But before that, we have to go scroll down to the lower levels with Mist Valley, the baby rock.
That.
And as you can see,
As-
his papa is up above him there.
That is a baby with
Whoops.
a Halloween mask.
Also, I'll point out, rock isn't there isn't any actual normal Mist Valley rock. There is just the baby rock. even though we can see the adult one there in the background.
Are those snake tails?
Yes, it has snakes for tails. It has horns, Dennis. I don't think this thing is holding to evolution. I mean, at least he looks happy. He likes flying around in the worm farts.
Well, what's the deal with the Mist Valley anyway? It's just bird people and that's it?
Bird people, reclusive, live in the Mist Valley, don't like outsiders. Of course, these are one of the tribes that are at war with the rest, so
Oh, yeah.
they're still territorial bastards. But then we have next Mist Valley Windmaster. Who pick a bird, mate. Just pick one and stick with it.
Take a bird. I'll pick all of them.
Peacock, hummingbird, like the phoenix in Japanese myth. Are these the legs? Are these the tiny little legs?
I can't tell what's going on.
It's the maximum bird. Except there's still more birds. I mean, Mist Valley kind of doesn't have much except for Thunderlord. Like, the rest kind of fall to the wayside unless they're kind of human. Like, Mist Valley Thunderbird. He just got caught. You just took a photo of him. He looked up.
At least it looks like an actual made-up bird instead of
all the birds, or fucking this.
What is that?
This is a peacock made of leaves, but also thunder. Like, I feel in its attempt to like do like the zigzag lightning going into the tail, it just looks like brown autumn leaves. Sorry, fall.
Peacock made of thunder? Is this Chad Thundercock?
No, he's Chad Thundercock, Dennis. Of course, it has to be the Chad Thundercock, Thunderlord, the Lord of Thundercock. But now we have another human, Mist Valley Shaman.
That's...
And I mean, they just, come on, Japan.
It's just a girl.
She's just a harpy lady. She's a harpy lady who got her wings clipped. I mean, there's not much to say here. It's a lady wearing BDSM gear, but also a little bit of tribal stuff.
Oh, kinky.
Actually, that looks like the Yiga clan from Zelda. And also, she says she's smoking. I told you for the last time, Shaman. You have to stop smoking in the hut.
Does she smoke mist?
Oh no. Yeah, she smokes the mist directly from the worm while it's still purple. That's why it's not white here. It's still kind of pink.
Oh.
And now we have the Mist Condor, who has a necklace and also like Buddhist, like high level Buddhism ears. If you know what I mean.
Is that a feather collar?
Feather collar? Did you know the Windmaster had a feather collar as well? The Condor has a better looking one, frankly. This is just This is Alpha Bird, but like he has, like, you know, the elongated earlobes, Dennis. Do you see them?
Yeah, I see them. I don't want to see them anymore.
It's a condor. Do condors have like the bald head? They're like the completely featherless head like vultures. Who knows? Next we have manlet, or at least I get the impression that he's a manlet. Mist Valley Soldier with his two kukris. I mean, he's kind of just mostly naked.
Yeah.
And also, what use is this? Just don't put it on your arm, mate. How are you going to swing that blade with that wrapped around your arm?
Maybe he cut it so many times.
Yeah, but then cut the cloth away from the neckerchief. Like, it's ridiculous. It's silly. Why would you do that? And now we have what I think is supposed to be besides... Wait, no. This is like the top soldier in Mist Valley Falcon. Who he thinks he's so sexy. This is Anime Boy.
This is Anime Boy.
Exactly. Also, the sword, which is it's just white.
Does it even have a blade?
Is it just mist? Is that what Mist Valley is? The most, frankly, boring of all of these ones.
Mist Valley is what happened when the shaman inhaled too much.
She inhaled too much, but she couldn't get it in, so she just had to let it all out and just fill the valley. That's how they became reclusive. Not because they were actually like xenophobic. They just got lost and forgot that there was other people out there. And now we have what I was going to say is like under the immediate person underneath the Thunderlord, Mist Valley Executor or Executor, whichever way that works. This is the most Native American man I have ever seen, while also being a Birdman.
What's going on with like his face?
He's got no hair on his face then. He just has
feathers.
Just feathers. It's all feathers. Always has been. And now we have the final Mist Valley character, air quotes, of their strongest normal monster, Mist Valley Apex Avian, who is the big bird It's Big Bird. He's
Oh,
here.
no.
He's come to kick down your door. Oh, this thing is clearly supposed to be an evolution of the Thundercock. So this is the maximum Thundercock.
Is this the chat Thundercock?
Yes, this is. It's just his proportions. It really is Big Bird with those proportions.
What if he has like a little apocalypse in his hand?
Just the scale apocalypses. Rather, because this is a bird, they don't have scale birds. They have scale apocalypse.
We should measure Yu-Gi-Oh monsters by how many apocalypses they can hold.
I can't hold all these apocalypses. Well, that's the end of Mist Valley. What'd you think, Dennis? They bird people?
Well, they bird people, alright.
They a bunch of reclusive bird people.
They bird, they people, they bird people.
Alright, well now we go on to one that I can actually tell a bit of a story with, which is the Earth element for the first generation, the X-Sabers. Which, I'll find the character first. You see, obviously the tribes didn't always exist because, I mean, that's not how anything works ever. As I'm sure you can understand, Dennis.
Maybe.
So originally, the X-Sabers originated under this guy. This berserk character.
He does look like a berserk. He looks like Guts if...
And just you wait, because he was a mercenary captain. This is just berserk, for the most part. Like, this is X-Saber Souza, who was the original captain of the X-Sabers. Except, apparently, they weren't actually called the X-Sabers while he was the captain, but why is he X-Saber Souza then, for fuck's sake? Yu-Gi-Oh!
So what's his deal?
His deal was he was a mercenary captain, but he was a fucking bastard. He sent everybody to their deaths just so as they'd ensure the win. And he had a second in command called Gotums. Let me get Commander Gotums, the Swordmaster. Gotums, on the other hand,
kind of cool.
Gotums, on the other hand, was a very reasonable leader. So when Souza mysteriously disappeared at some point, Gotums took over and said, "You know what? Let's reform ourselves into a country." Which, first, that sends up a different flag in Goton's personality, frankly.
Looks cool, though.
He does look cool. He is a far more reasonable leader, so he decided to stop being a ragtag mercenary band, decided, let's forge our own tribe. And that became the X-Sabers. Which...
Why are they dark?
Huh? Why aren't they dark?
Yeah.
Well, because they've just chosen element. They probably couldn't think of anything for the Earth element. Although they did have robots, but like they're most elements.
Ah, okay.
So the X-Sabers were originally made up of 10 original members, which technically included Gotums or Souza, depending on which way you look at it in the archetype. So they first had X-Saber Anu Piranha, which is that's a name. And also, what the fuck is going on? Is that like what are these blades?
Is that a whip blade?
Oh, I should think about that. She's just Ivy. And as the only normal monster here, she has lore. A female X-Saber warrior, known for her graceful attacks and calm decision-making in battle. Her ambition is merciless and strikes fear in the hearts of her enemies. This is quite generic. But these were the first of the warriors with, now let me find. Next is X-Saber Galahad, no relation. Who is a fishman.
What?
He's an earth fishman, or is he a frog? I think he's a frog. No, he has a tail. What is he? You see, the X-Sabers are beast warriors, Dennis.
But like...
Mostly.
He clearly had a human woman.
Well, actually, no, this guy isn't a beast warrior. Well, no, like it's generally a mix of warriors, beasts, and beast warriors. But like most of them tend to be beast warriors. But this isn't a beast warrior, Dennis. This is just a frogman who is apparently just a regular warrior. He's human.
So...
The Gotons looked at this guy and said, "I want you on the team."
What's his deal? Why does he have hair?
Because he's just... Do you not see the regular human being, Dennis? Regular human beings, of course, have hair.
thought they have feathers.
No, the regular ones. And now we have the X-Saber Uruz, who is... This guy's a beast warrior, but I can't tell exactly what he is. This is the edgy fucker, clearly. I'm also finding it hard to figure out what limb is what.
Does he have like a fur coat?
Yeah, it's like a fur cape. Like it looks like it comes from inside the helmet.
Yeah.
That could be his hair, actually. But this is it's just another X-Saber, one of the elite 10 original X-Sabers. Like X-Saber Airbellum. And this guy needs to calm the fuck down and go back to Mega Man X.
He does look like a Mega Man X.
No, like Slash Beast is actually just this.
Oh yeah.
It's just Slash Beast. Although his head looks too small. Yeah, it's such a small head.
Is that a Lion Man?
This is a Lion Man, but he's not an Earth Warrior. He's not a Beast Warrior. He's just a beast.
Oh yeah, he's just a beast. That means
I don't know what.
He's yeah.
Now we have X-Saber Pashu, who is the typical old man who really likes his big sword.
Looks like he's confused.
He's like, what is this contraption? I don't understand. I can only presume that this, judging by the fact that he is an old man and his armor's all battered, he probably was part of the original mercenary band. And now we have everybody's favourite Kingdom Hearts character, X-Saber Axel. Who's just... He is a beast warrior.
I can't tell what he's meant to be.
Like, he just kind of has hair sticking out everywhere. But otherwise, that looks like a mostly human face to me. So he's just like kind of...
hairy guy.
He's just a hairy man. He's a beast! This is... Is this the last of the original X-Sabers? Oops, spoilers. Nope, there's one last one. Who is not a beast or a warrior or a beast warrior. We have X-Saber Palomuro, the reptile.
Is that the Chameleon Gaming?
This is our mascot, Palomuro. Hey, Palo. This is who he is for some reason.
Looks like he's just chilling.
Just chilling, you know. But what do you think of the political implications of the fact that Gothams decided to form a country in probably what was very much contested land? Oh wait, there's one more.
It sounds like what the other guy would do.
Exactly. But the other guy was just too much of an idiot. But now we have X-Saber Wayne, who is he's a cowboy for some reason.
Wait. I've seen this guy before.
I think he is a general use synchro. Yeah, because it doesn't actually mention anything about X-Sabers in his effect. He was a general use type for this when he was relevant. But
I think I used him in one of the games.
But this is knights to cowboy. But his gun's a sword.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, motherfucker. But I mean, what the hell is his shoulder pads? He has a GameCube for a shoulder pad. No, Dreamcast. It's a Dreamcast. But to continue the story of the X-Sabers, during this conflict that they'll go through, they eventually stumbled upon this man who had no memory. Which, forgive the fact that this art is terrible on this, I can't get a better one. MX Saber Invoker. The man who lost his memory.
I can't tell what's going on.
Don't make the mistake I did. That is not an eye, that is not a nose, nor that a mouth. This is a visor, and that's his mouth underneath it.
Oh.
It's like he has a Robocop face.
Oh, okay.
But this man was, of course, found by Gotams, and then well, they brought them into the fold. So much so that he eventually became X-Saber Urbellum. Which, who do you think he is, Dennis? This mysterious man with no memories but sword skills showed up out of nowhere with no memories of who he ever was.
Griffith.
Who used two swords before, huh? Who used the two swords? He definitely lost a lot of weight, though. I mean, I suppose that's the best way you can hope for redemption. Just like different person, essentially. But Orbellum is seemingly Xavier Souza, lost his memories and brought up again by Gotham's.
So, is this Good Guts?
That's Good Guts. But
Is Guts good?
the story of the X-Sabers is not over yet. It's not ogre yet. Because partway through the battle, they all fucking die, with the exception of Orbellum, Gotham's, and certain others. Because Gotham's had to make an entirely new band of 10. Including himself properly this time, because, by the way, the original Gotham's isn't technically an X-Saber monster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not in his name. But he then became Double X-Saber Gotham's, where he got his
Double X-Saber?
Yeah, the Double X-Sabers are the new ones.
So, is this like the Double Zeta?
This is the Double Zeta of Gotham. This is Double Zeta Gotham. Gundam. Gotham. But as you can see, they now implement technology into their equipment. That's
Robot Knights, pretty cool.
That's generally just the aesthetic of the Double Cross Knights now, or the Double X, like Double X Saber Fault Roll, who is, I can't even tell his face. I see hair, but I don't see a face. But is that his sword hilt, and that the sword? I mean, I get that they're like technologically enhanced now, so I guess they have some sort of augmentations.
What? I can't tell what's going on.
He has a cape. That's his stomach. That's his hair. I can't see a face because it's kind of just too much going on. His arms are holding his sword hilt. And that's like the arm guard, but it's like twice the size of his body. And then that's the sword. The X-Sabers are just berserk. That's what they are. But also furries, half of them. Like Double
Not
X.
our mascot.
Like Double X Saber Guard Strike. Which this is a Catman with a rather cool weapon, to be frank.
It kind of looks like it could be a dual disc.
Oh no. Oh no. In Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, when they go into the dual dimension, they'll have to fight Double X Saber Guard Strike with his Double X Saber deck.
It's like when Jaden fought Kyberman and the Kyberman used Kyberman.
It's funny, like when he fought Braun, King of Dark World. Mad King of Dark World. Like just the actual dual monsters. And Don Zaloon of the Stinging Scorpions, or whatever they're called, Dark Scorpions. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX did that all the time. But now we have Double X Saber Boggart Knight, who kind of looks like that one Vorse Raider, that type of monster.
Which one?
If you just look, hang on, I'll just get him here. It's easy enough to get Saber back up. Vorse, this guy. It's Vorse Raider.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Whereas go back to X Saber, and I'll mouse over. Now pay attention to his head. You see the horns and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we go back, and you still see the horns, and it's general.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's him. What are you doing here?
He's back with a vengeance.
But now he's on the good guys' team. Kinda.
I need to go get my charger. I'll be back.
Very well. But before Dennis gets back, let's move on to the next one, shall we? We have the Double X Saber Garson, which is, I mean, I don't know where to begin with this. It's an antelope man. It's an antelope man with this lightning. Like, what are they? Are they narwhal horns? I don't know. I do not know. Okay, let's scroll down here. Oh, shit. If anybody complains about the quality of what we do here, go ahead. Interact. Feed into the YouTube algorithm. But this is the Shitpost show, so don't complain.
Alright, I'm back.
Yes, you're back
What's
with
this guy?
Double X Saber Garson, the Antelope Man. Not a Beast Warrior, just a beast. Which, I mean,
I
at
see.
least this one has more in common with a beast than it does a man, unlike Mr. Airbellum over here. Which... Do you feel something's weird about his weapons, Dennis? How do you use them? What are they?
Well, easy.
Are they just bad
you-
rapiers? Because, I mean, you can't
Uh,
cut anything with them.
It's just kind of. Maybe he punches people, but then he cuts them.
I have no idea. I don't understand why he's an antelope, so I guess make his weapons antelope horns or something. It doesn't make any sense. But now we have yet another human, Double X Saber, full Helm Knight, who has like full coloured eyes with no Slayer whatsoever from the looks of it.
Are they like are they like pieces of the sword that?
I think the implication might
Or the
be
whip?
they might be Anu Piranha's child, given the hair colour, the propensity for whip-like weapons, the colour red, blonde hair. I think that's the implication. Is the next generation, obviously, as they are.
Oh yeah,
Which is just, I don't know.
beautiful hair.
It's a child, Dennis.
Wow, sounds good.
Okay, but then we have Double X Saber, Emmer's Blade, Bugman, he's an insect. Wow, they really shouldn't, like, they have so much warrior support and beast warrior support and beast support, but then they just throw in insects, reptiles. But this is the Bugman, who he showed up too early. Steel Swarm was the next arc. And so he showed up now instead. And now we have the edgiest bastard, Double X Saber, Dark Souls! My Dark Soul!
Boy, he looks like
His scythe looks like it's too heavy for him.
yeah.
Yeah, Godhums, hire this guy to join the side of good in the battle.
Oh yeah, he's decoy.
Decoy? Oh, as in
You know,
like
you send him out.
he gets killed.
They get distracted, and you do what you need to do.
I mean, who uses a scythe? Not to mention, it appears the actual edge of the scythe is ridged, meaning it's not actually going to work that well. It looks like it's reinforced at the bottom. So he's only using it for like a point.
He's gonna stab people and run away.
And now the final, well, not the final main deck, Double X Saber. Double X Saber, Ragigura.
Are those tonfas?
They're just like cross-shaped knives.
I,
He has all of this technology as he is clearly wearing the uniform, but then it looks like he's just like tied together two pieces of like stone to make a knife.
Can we make him a mascot?
Maybe one day, maybe if we want to one day be sued by Konami, because they will.
Oh, today.
And there is one last X Saber character in Double X Saber, Hyunlei or Hyunlei. And there we go.
Hyunlei.
Robo Chun-Li with her that type of sword, that one. You know that one? With the slight curve.
Oh yeah,
to it.
that one. That one. Yep.
So now
You
Dennis,
see that sword and you're like, oh yeah, that one.
now we have the two to pick. Do you want the robots or the water element ones?
Guess the robots.
Oh wait, I forgot about the fire as well.
Guess the robots.
Okay, then we start with the
'Cause, you know,
robots.
Double X, they're like slightly robotic. Let's go all the way.
Yes, then we have the Gen X, who start with this little boy, this lovable little boy Gen X controller.
Wait. Gen X?
Yes,
GX?
that is what GX was standing for. I think, or Generation Next. So what do you think of controller here, Dennis? Isn't he
Looks
kind
like
of?
rejected Wally design.
He's kind of creepy cute, like just.
He looks like he's small and would like get your attention by like ramming into your leg or something.
But like not in like a conscious way, just kind of just walks into your leg, stumbles backwards,
Yeah.
keeps walking into your leg.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Let's go through the original Gen X monsters. With obviously Gen X controller is the archetypal tuner, meaning the idea is controller fuses with all of these to create their synchro monsters, the original ones. Like Gen X Furnace. He's just a furnace. Why did you make the furnace sentient? Why would you do this?
It's because you play too much Minecraft.
In this Minecraft, the furnace comes to you. And then we have, that's the fire type one. We have a wind type one in Gen X Blast Fan, who looks like he looks like he's having fun.
It looks like
Okay.
he's either creating air, or it's too powerful, so he's actually spinning.
The blade is actually managing to remain still, but he's spinning around it. He could be looking. It looks like energy. It doesn't look exactly fun or panic. It could be either.
Yeah.
All right, and then there was Gen X. No, not that one. There's a lot more here, because Gen X had 3 sub-archetypes over its time, because they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do. Then they have Gen X Gaia, who looks like he looks like he's just been dug up from like a cave collapse, and he just hasn't bothered taking the rest off.
Is he like a farmer?
No, that's a pickaxe.
Oh.
And he's got a pickaxe in his hand, and he's got a jackhammer in as the other. Pick one, mate. I don't think you need both. I don't think you need a pickaxe if you've got a jackhammer hand. Alright, and
I don't know what to say. He's just kind of.
he's just there.
It looks like he's about to say something, or maybe it's like a
I am
portrait
here.
of a painting where it's like,
Hold still, Gaia.
I want to paint you.
Alright, well then. Oh wait, I forgot. Oh yeah, and the water one, Gen X Undyne, has tits. Because, yeah, I guess the Gen X as a race have female robots. I guess. For some reason.
I know that Undyne is supposed to be like a female water spirit or something, but like, why?
Because. And now, all of the original synchros for Gen X were based on just upgrading those 4 elemental ones. Which was like Hydro Gen X here, which is, as you can tell, Undyne but upgraded. Where now she has bubble arms and a bubble spear, and also wings for some reason. Which,
Yeah, Bubble Man got nothing on her.
which I feel like are these all like soft tubes? Can she even stand on those legs? And then we have Gen X, which is obviously Gaia, but with apparently no legs. Because, I don't know. He also looks like he's leaking everywhere.
Is that like a bomb? Or
Like,
what's he holding?
I think that's his arm. Like, it's like the curve of the arm and his fist is on the inside. Or if he even has hands anymore. I think Gaia got the most hard done by this synchro.
Gaia was so like perfect. You could.
But Gaia
Portraits.
and the Furnace both got like less body because they had the most body in the first place, I think.
No, don't make me do a synchro.
Because then there's Thermal Gen X, which is the Furnace, which is just that's a health hazard. There's too much fire everywhere.
Doesn't look like it.
What?
It's just like.
It's just like jets of blue fire, which is hotter fire.
Would he melt himself?
Probably, quite likely. If look at that. If he's making a jet of blue flame that big, many things would melt. Is that what's happening to Gen X? He's after just getting a blast of heat, so he's melting. Oh no. But his eyes seem like pleading. Kill me. It's too hot.
Later.
Later. And then finally, Windmill Gen X, who actually seems like he has control over the wind. And he's thick though.
He went to the robot gym.
He never skips leg day. Ever. Unfortunately, he can't do the exercise ball thing because he'd pop it with his fan blades. But that's all of the original Gen X. So now we get into their next wave of support, being the military Gen X and the R Gen X. Starting with Gen X Solar, which does not at all look like anything to do with any of them so far. So, where did one of Yusei's monsters get in here? I mean, does this not look like one of the warrior monsters?
It does look like a junk warrior.
I mean, he's powered by Orange Phantom.
Oh no.
Again. Then we have the Gen X Army, who looks like he'd tell you that he was his star quarterback back at his college. He also looks fucking insane.
What?
He's got a Joker smile.
What's that? Like tube in the back?
Like the back of his head, or like the missile tube that he's holding?
The one in the back of his head. Like...
Oh, like leading to the gel or whatever, the fuel.
Or what is that?
No idea. This is a normal monster, so canonically this is just something that was built as is. No Gen X controller needed. I don't get it. Then we have our Gen X Ultimum. Could you look at the camera, please? Again, he thick though.
Tripped.
Again, he thick though. Also, it looks like he has like trousers that are longer than like his legs, so they go down around the shoes.
It's bootleg.
It's bootleg. I mean, I can't really make out much here. It's gold. It's lanky.
God.
But then we have Gen X. Then we have Gen X Neutron, who just arrived from the future and says, "Come with me. There's no time to explain." Again,
got a blast.
Again, he's powered by Fanta. Which, to be honest, I prefer this design to Solar. But
Neutron does
this, but this one,
cool.
but this one's a level 4 instead. Actually, wait, no, he's got claw motion with his hand. This is Satellite Man in just given form. And then next we have Gen X Searcher, who looks like he's seen better days.
It looks like he's searching for the perfect body type.
Perfect body type, and yet he found nothing. Because here's the thing with the Gen X, they probably reuse everything anyway. Given that they are just...
everyone got the good parts and he just has the leftovers.
Exactly. But then they have to go to him to get him to search a Gen X monster.
Oh, some people don't appreciate him.
Now we have what I consider one of the abstract Gen X. It's not a monster. It's an object. It's a machine. It's just like a building. Our Gen X Accelerator. Is this what the inside of a particle accelerator looks like? Is this what you see when you go to a black hole?
What is it trying to be?
It's the accelerator. But now we're back to our Gen X Turbo. He is a car. He has a fucking headlight on his... Not headlight. He has traffic lights on his arms. He has exhaust.
He needs to blow off some steam.
I mean, why? Why is he a car? Why
not? He can bring Searcher around.
I mean, let's be honest. Him being a car is not the worst the Gen X have ever done. But now we have Gen X Turbine, which looks like a steamroller rather than a turbine.
Yeah.
Those
things like sticking out.
He has like Clank head. Like he's just got like the jaw and like 2 eyes.
Oh, this is what Clank could have been if he wasn't that like midget robot.
Yeah, exactly. This is Clank as he was intended.
Ooh, I love logic puzzles.
And now we have the Gen X Doctor, which, as you can see, is working with Gen X controllers. Except actually they're Gen X spares.
So I'm guessing the Doctor
just fixes.
Does everything by request, and Searcher's like, just give me all of this, I don't care anymore.
The Doctor's like, I've got all of these parts that can't work with Gen X anymore.
Well, the Doctor be technically plastic surgeon, but not really
He'd
plastic,
be
like a robot surgeon.
he'd be plastic surgeon. He'd be mechanic, doctor, fucking. He'd be dentist. He's everything. Any kind of like working on the body, he is. He's also a plumber. But now we have Gen X worker, who doesn't look like he could do much work being a hovercraft.
Gen X worker must be one of those ironic names.
Like,
He looks like he's a couch or something.
take a seat with Gen X worker.
It's like, oh no, it's like, I thought you were working. Nah, man. Taking a break.
It's
I haven't worked in days.
like one of the other Gen X wants him to move. Hey, Gen X, can you move this? I have no arms.
That's not an excuse.
Just put it on my lap then. Just put it on my lap and I'll bring it there and somebody else will have to take it off me.
You see, Searcher just sits on him and it's like, alright, let's move.
They don't understand us, worker. We're not like them. We're not useful. And now we have our Gen X Magma. Who just... Why? He's...
Looks like he's leaking, but because it's a robot, it's like it's vomiting.
It looks like he's leaking, but like he also has like a sink around him, so it's kind of the point, I think.
Uh-oh.
So what do you do? Is he just like... Is he a generator? Why did you give your generator sentience?
Yes.
I don't understand. And now we have what is possibly one of the best and like most just good art things I've seen from Yuko in a long while. In Gen X Spare. There you go. Nice and peaceful.
He's just...
I did also notice that she has sneakers. Because this is canonically female.
Oh my god.
She has like sports, like soccer shoes. But get attached to Gen X Spare while she's here, Dennis.
Oh no, what's gonna happen to her?
You'll
She
see.
just discovered what life is, and it's like...
Yeah, and by the way, they can't speak. That's like, they're sentient, they can think, but they have no ability to communicate.
Uh-oh, that's no good. So the speaker and worker are like...
They can understand each other, presumably being machines. They probably have some kind of connection. But just, they
They
can't...
just don't understand us. I don't even understand you.
Now we have our Gen X Crusher, which, are those eyes? Or is this just like another abstract machine thing? Oh wait, I just saw these as eyes and this like the cat mouth.
If you look at the top and see the red,
Yeah,
the red thing is eye, it looks like he's really happy.
Although it also looks like it's a yin yang. Like it curves off to that end and then around like that. Now I'm seeing this
Probably
as
is
like
like
an Uwu face.
Ooh.
The Uwu Argenex Crusher. And now we have the Argenex Overseer. This is what happens when Searcher finds his parts.
Flies around.
You made fun of me! Now look at me! You
I will
work
build my own empire.
You work for me now. I am your overseer. With his levitation technology.
So is the Gen X like their own tribe, or are they like...
They are a tribe, but as far as I can tell, given their peaceful nature, they're not part of the actual war.
Ah, I see.
The war is mostly just the Mist Valley, the X-Sabers, the Ice Barrier, and Flamvel, of which the other two we haven't gotten to yet. But like the four elemental ones are the ones at war all the time.
Ah, I see.
Whereas for the time being, Gen X here are they're living their robot lives and making game consoles with a small robot attached to it.
Maybe what happened was Overseer accidentally got into a conflict, came back, and became Seeker.
Yes, Overseer brought them into the war. They lost, and then it's like when like Napoleon was exiled. But here we have our Gen X Oracle, who got stuck inside the strap on the GameCube. Help him.
Looks like an oversized backpack for him. It's like,
He's stuck.
oh, we're going on a one-day like
Hiking
trip somewhere. It's like, I brought it for only one day.
Yes, I have only the essentials.
The stuff for the night is in worker.
I like how tiny he is. Like, I just imagining this as the size of an Xbox or any kind of games console. It's just this tiny robot carrying it on his back. But now we have the Gen X Power Planner. It's another one. It's another one with a backpack. Except this one has like a fucking black hole thing. Well, why are there two backpack monsters?
They're on a hiking trip.
Yeah, one has the fucking lunchbox. The other one has the black hole, so as you know, they can do whatever.
You eat and then you dispose.
You dispose. You dispose of everything. But now we have yet more good art, because the Gen X story-wise are quite brilliant, despite being very, very bad as a deck. Gen X recycled. I feel sorry for this creature.
Oh.
It's not. It is this.
No.
No, this is not controller or spare. This is another one. This is a third one. This is a.
Still, it's pretty bad. Is this like a prototype version?
Well, like, I guess the idea of recycled is just like they cobbled one together because I presume the war was getting desperate at that point. But like, it looks like its life is pain. It looks like it wants it to end.
It looks like it's in a cave. And
Yeah,
it's
forgotten.
been
Like
left alone.
when the war's over, this thing's in a scrapyard to be forgotten. Unfortunately. And now.
Is a scrapyard for them like the morgue for us?
Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, I suppose it is. And now there are only two synchros for this part of the Gen X archetype, where we first have Vindicate Argenex, which is fucking plain. Except it looks like it can rotate the jet engine like down
Yeah, you're right.
for quick movement, I guess.
I don't know, man.
But that's not the important one, because now we have the poster child besides controller for Gen X, which is Locomotion Argenex. It's the train. It's a train for some reason.
Choo choo, motherfucker.
True, motherfucker. And he is being controlled by controller in there.
Oh my god, how big is this thing?
Exactly. And I mean, controllers are like probably up to your knee, so probably not that big actually.
Okay.
But that just makes it sadder when you see this and just imagine that small, sad little thing.
Poor guy.
But we do have a final sub-archetype of Gen X, but we'll leave that until we get the thing that actually caused those to be created. Because first, fire or water, Dennis?
Water.
Water. So then we start with the ice barrier. And here is General Grunard of the ice barrier. Which is his hat. Now to delve
general.
To delve into what the ice barrier are just a tribe of humans who are embroiled in both their war with all the other tribes and also incessant political conflict on the inside. Because they have two factions. The religious faction and the military faction.
Oh,
and
no.
Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place. Although in this instance, I'd agree with the military's point of view more so than the religion, because you see the ice barrier exists. But actually, let's go to the story and show the relevant monster. Where is he? Originally, there was the prior of the ice barrier, this wandering prior, I guess. He just went around the land, and he encountered three devastatingly powerful dragons: Bryanak, Gungnir, and Trishula.
Oh, they actually look kind of cool.
And he sealed them all within that mirror on his staff, the ice mirror, which, as you can see, actually has like their heads on it. Because, I don't know, God forbid you ever seal anything else in there, then it wouldn't make any sense. But then he founded the ice barrier to just keep those dragons sealed, but also controlled, because the ice barrier gives them a level of control over them. A level, you'll note, not complete control. But the prior sealed them, he passed away, and eventually became the, where is it? The sacred spirit of the ice barrier, who's a zombie type for some reason. He's a zombie type for some reason.
Oh, I see.
But, like, he's just the ghost that watches over them. But far into the future, when many generations have passed, they just start picking on each other because the military say, no, we don't need the dragons to fight our war. We can do it ourselves. We're strong enough. I'm doing the John voice. I didn't mean to.
No.
I didn't mean to. Whereas the religious faction says, no, the dragons, we worship them. Bring them out. Let them fulfill our battles. We'll win the war with the dragons.
Uh-oh.
So let's go through them, shall we? Of course, we have General Grunard. Guess what faction he's in, I wonder.
Let me think. Gen X.
Obviously, General Grunard, being a general, is in the military faction, as is General Gantala, who looks like he'd give you a massive slap. Not even a slap, a backhand.
Is this Yu-Gi-Oh Avatar?
Huh?
Is Yu-Gi-Oh Avatar?
Yu-Gi-Oh Avatar. Like, he has the best backhand in the ice barrier. What are you talking about? Shut up, you fool. And now we have possibly the leader of the religious faction, the medium of the ice barrier, who just... She loves her dragons. So much so that I think that's... I don't know if that is actually the face of any of them. That just doesn't actually look like them.
This dragon is actually like, I don't know, like a...
The secret fourth dragon.
White ties blue dragon. It's like, hey, what's going on?
Is it heard you like dragons? Am I included? But
hey, can I call my buddies?
Then we have General Raiho, who he's a fan. He has a fan. You'll notice that the actual cultural clothing kind of goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And especially with one of the next two, where we have Dai Sojo of the Ice Barrier, who is in the religious faction. Cool monk. Cool how they keep putting the fucking the snowflake symbol into everything.
Yeah.
There ain't no snowflakes here. Being what this being a military and religious culture. And then we have, for some reason, the Royal Knight of the Ice Barrier, who...
Whoa.
It's King Thornton.
She looks cool.
But he looks great, but he's a level 5, and his mechanics have nothing to do with the rest of the Ice Barrier.
Wait, so is he just like a guy on his own? Is like...
No, yeah. Story-wise, he's part of the Ice Barrier, but mechanically, he's just completely... You should never put him in a deck. Ever.
I see.
And especially given that his effect actually works against you if you do the best form of Ice Barrier deck.
Wait, what?
Apparently, a field spell Wetlands is good for the type of Ice Barrier strategy. But because of how Wetlands works, if this guy got summoned, he summons a token on the opponent's side of the field. And that token, by the effect of Wetlands, is stronger than him.
What?
So he summons a token stronger than himself. If in the best strategy. And you know how I was saying the culture is going everywhere? So what we have here is typical Asian monk, Western knight, and now samurai. With the samurai of the Ice Barrier.
It's still cool though.
Yeah, I will be honest. I don't tend to like samurai armor. This looks alright. He also seems to have an eye patch, which gives him almost a hockey mask look. And now we have the dance princess of the Ice Barrier. I mean, you gotta have fashion when you live in the fucking freezing cold mountains, I guess.
She looks like something happened and she doesn't know how to respond.
She's like, oh. Or just, ooh.
Oh.
Oh, what's that? And now we have Boomer, strategist of the Ice Barrier. No relation to the Prior and Grand Spirit.
Looks like he's handing out brochures or something.
Well, he's holding a folded up fan, so it's like he's teaching and he's just like, you stupid child.
Here's my brochure.
You got the question wrong again.
Here's my card.
Or actually, it looks like it might also be chopsticks. He's got a marshmallow between them. Do you want a marshmallow? And actually, we didn't discuss that. So Daisojo was obviously going to be in the religious faction. Knight, presumably military. Samurai, presumably military as well. Dance princess. Where do you think, Dennis? She has a She has weapons, but they all do. So,
She is religious.
any reasoning for that?
Uh,
Other than the fact
Fashion.
that, other than the fact that all the female characters in the Ice Barrier so far are the religious faction.
No comments.
Strategist, given the name, I'm going to presume military. And here's the sacred spirit as we have another look at him. He's just like, he just looks upon all of this culture that extended from his actions, and he's just like, what the fuck are you all doing? I sealed those dragons for a reason. I even gave you a tiger to fix it if they get out by accident.
Wait, they have tigers?
Oh, well, they have one tiger. You'll see.
So cool.
The Pilgrim of the Ice Barrier. I wonder what faction he's part of.
Oh, yes.
There's
Elemental hero.
There's also a lot of yellow for an Ice Barrier. And now we have what is possibly the most strange addition to the Ice Barrier lineup. The Numbing Grub in the Ice Barrier.
Wait, what?
You see, this is an Ice Barrier monster. It is actually part of the deck as well. But lore-wise, this is just a monster that lives in the area. So, frankly, this should be like...
the Mistworm?
Yes, like the Mistworm, but actually part of the archetype. Because I guess they just decided to do that.
Okay. You do you?
I mean, he doesn't even want to be part of the Ice Barrier. They suck.
They actually?
Kinda. I mean, they're not the worst.
Does the Ice Princess suck?
Oh. Yeah, she sucks in air. That's what she's doing. She's...
Oh, like the shaman.
like the shaman blows out mist. But now we have the Spellbreaker of the Ice Barrier. Definitely religious. Just no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the women just love dragons in the Ice Barrier.
You know, it's cold, but she's still going bare legged.
This actually would tie back into Shiva in Final Fantasy XIV a little bit. But now we have the shock troops of the Ice Barrier with that old Japanese fan-looking thing. You know the one?
No, I actually don't.
I've seen it. I've seen it in anime and stuff. I think I've
What's
seen.
it called?
I don't know what it's called. I just know it, and it's apparently like used like a weapon in some way.
Alright, I'm gonna try and figure this out.
It's just a Japanese large fan or something. I don't know. But this is the shock troops, who are just generic ninja men. But I like the combining of the ninja aesthetic and like woolly coats. I kind of like how the two of them go together.
I don't know why, but I really like the the design for a lot of these.
Oh well, Dual Terminal. One thing, no matter how good the decks are, generally it has good art, and like and we haven't even actually gotten into the story proper yet, which is probably going to happen next stream at this point. But then we have Geomancer of the Ice Barrier, who's a little camera shy, and as such is definitely part of the religious faction.
Yep.
Given that it's clearly a woman, because so far I don't think I've seen a single military woman. I mean, I suppose they're like a medieval culture. They have different ideas of what should be done. And now we have the Warlock of the Ice Barrier. Who let the kid in?
This is my son.
This is my son. He's here to train with me. Which, it's a kid. I don't think he's probably too young to actually be considered part of either faction.
It's probably like, Dad, let's kill some dragons together. I don't even know what they are.
I said, no, you fool. We worship the dragons. But now we have animals with Defender of the Ice Barrier. It's just a fox, but they put very uncomfortable armor on.
And the tail got frozen, but only like top.
I mean, it's just a fox. Not much to say here. A fox with a bit of armor. But now we have yet another religious leader in the Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier.
Why is he crying?
He controls when other people cry. He forces
you
to
will
cry.
be sad.
So now this edgy boy, like, is he wearing like a hempen hat? Or he just like, the peasant hat, the leather peasant hat with the two things that hang down the side. Now we have Dudark of the Ice Barrier, the maximum ninja, minimum ice barrier.
Do dark.
Like nothing. Like
Doo-doo.
besides him holding a shuriken that looks like an icicle, snowflake. Nothing about his design is ice barrier. His belt.
Background.
Yeah, the background. But like his actual design, he's just a ninja. And then of course we have the man who started it all when he was alive, the Prior.
Prior to what?
Prior to becoming a zombie.
Yeah, that's true.
What he reminds me of is, I know you haven't seen it, Daz, but the anime Gurren Lagann, they have like a very far future ending thing where it's like, where's everybody now? Like after the end of the main plot. And this is what the main character looks like. Just replace the ice mirror at the top of his staff with like a drill.
Why drill?
Because it's the symbolism of Gurren Lagann. You wouldn't understand. But then we have the secret guards of the ice barrier. So secret, in fact, there's only one of them.
I see.
I swear I've seen this anime character before. Actually, yes, I have. Do you know where I've seen it? In Fire Emblem Fates. One of the characters in Fire Emblem Fates is just this girl. And finally, a female character that I could say logically is probably in the military faction.
But she's secret, so she doesn't count.
Now we have Caravan of the Ice Barrier. It's just lizards carrying shit.
Hey man, these lizards are helping out.
They help more than Gen X Spare.
Oh.
No, not Gen X Spare. Gen X Spare is the sad one. They help more than Gen X Searcher. And like Commander. And the final main deck ice barrier monster, Blizzed, Defender of the Ice Barrier. It's just a bird.
Is that like an ice like bird, or is it just white?
No, it's blue. It's a blue ice bird.
Blue.
It's blue. Da ba dee da ba da 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 ba dee da ba da. All right, let's get a close up of the ice mirror. There you go. That's the. You can see Trishula's head and Bryanak's 3 spikes. I don't recognize most things about Gungnir, so I don't care. But inside of those, they trap the dragons.
Are the dragons just stuck in the mirror then?
I think that's the idea, and that the people can let them out under their control for a while. But first, there is the other synchro, the tiger, Duel, Tiger King of the Ice Barrier. It's a pretty cool tiger.
Pretty cool.
And the entire point of this is the Prior got the loyalty of this creature before he passed away to say, hey, if the dragons go out of control, help us out. So that's what he exists for.
So it's a good boy.
It's a good boy. Too bad he's weaker than all 3 of the dragons.
Oh.
Well, except for maybe one of them. But generally, let's go into the dragons now, shall we? With Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, which is big. His monster type isn't even dragon. He's a sea serpent.
Well, he is pretty long.
Bryanak, Sea Serpent of the Ice Barrier doesn't sound as good though, does it? Or the 2 Ice Barrier dragons and the 1 Sea Serpent.
Still pretty cool though.
And also, this monster's effect had to be errated. Because you could discard any number of cards to the graveyard, then target the same amount of cards your opponent controls and return those to their hand. And it had to be errated to be once per turn.
Oh my god.
So basically, if you had enough shit in your hand, you could just stop the opponent doing anything. So what do you think of Bryanak here with his snowflake face?
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool sea serpents.
And he is like entirely hexagonal. Like it's just hexagons upon hexagons, just all the way down the tail. Although he does have feet. So he isn't even a serpent. What the fuck?
What is he?
He's just a dragon. But then we
is he a Chinese dragon with wings?
Basically, yeah. But now we have the second of the dragons, Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Who I feel like this one probably still breathes fire despite being an ice dragon. Given the massive amount of orange glow.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
This is the one nobody cares about, because, obviously, The first one had to be a rad, and the second one is considered one of the legendary dragon cards to be printed ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! So unfortunately, Gungnir here, he's rather laid by the side.
Well, we got such a cool name and design.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the design's a bit middling. The other two have better designs, I think. And now, of course, the final dragon, the only confirmed female one, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. A 3-headed dragon that stands like a man. As you can see, the arms are here, and the heads are just curling around the back. Which, by the way, Trishula got a retrain recently.
Really?
Yeah. It's not actually technically an Ice Barrier monster anymore, but it's still a good monster. Which, the idea of how I would see it, this is how I'd see Trishula just after being released while still under control. And then when losing control, it probably becomes Trishula, the Dragon of Icy Imprisonment. Don't question why it's a fusion monster.
Because, yes.
Which, why are her arms so small? Like, the body is so big, but the arms are so small.
She's got a long neck.
Three of them. And massive wings. But that's the end of the Ice Barrier, Dennis. And we have 15 minutes left. Alright, let me think then. Which of these is smaller? Flamvel? No. Let's go on to Naturia, because they're not actually part of any of the conflicts and they're rather quaint. So here we have the Naturia tree, which, oh boy, we'll get into everything about that, because nothing about this that's important has to do with Naturia. So now, let's relax at the very end with Naturia Stag Beetle. Duh. Because this is what Naturia is. It's just woodland life, but cute. With one exception.
Stag beetle.
He has leaves. So he's actually like made of... it is like a plant.
So weird.
Naturia bamboo shoot. Which just popped out of the ground like, oh! Although I feel like if you crop this face off, you could do terrible things with it. That one's struggling to get out. And now we have Naturia hydrangea. Which, oh god, I don't like these two. I feel like this is the mother and their two creepy kids.
You could tell there's the boy and the girl.
Exactly. It's just plants with eyes, but these ones aren't quite as cute. But then Naturia Spiderfang again. Oh, he's caught in his own web. Oh.
He looks sad.
He has ferns for like mandibles. And now we go from the cute small to the wise big of Naturia White Oak. I can't... Is that his face? I can't tell. It might just be a regular tree. But it's the wise tree. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. You can see that there's actually another Naturia monster we'll see later there. But now we have Naturia Horneedle. Don't ever make something horny, please. It has leaf wings. It looks like it's holding its like fists up a bit. Like, oh, I'm ready.
I'm ready for that.
I'll sting you. Now, Naturia Mantis.
Looks happy.
Happy little mantis with leaves instead of blades, so it can never cut anything. And now we have Naturia Strawberry.
Look how happy he is.
Strawberry. Yeah, happy Strawberry is I don't like how he's got like human legs. Ugh. He's bouncing along the leaves with his human legs and his massively oversized head. And now we have yet another of the big old wise, Naturia Guardian. It's the Deku tree. You can see the eyebrows, the hint of the mustache. Oh wait, he has hands. I didn't even realize. This is the old tree that protects all of the innocent little Naturias, the good boys and the good girls, like Naturia Cliff. It's just, he's a womp. What if a Womp could simultaneously be cuter but also somehow more threatening?
Looks like you just said something.
What did you say to me? Then we have Naturia Pumpkin. Oh no, he's got his head cut open. And his feet. But he looks happy enough anyway.
Is he high?
Probably. Or it might just be all the air getting inside his brain. Then we have Naturia Dragonfly. They're kind of just dragonflies. Oh wait, no, they have cherries for heads. I didn't even... Their head's a cherry.
Oh my god.
Naturia Beetle. Yeah, it's an acorn.
I think I've seen this one before.
Switch original attack and defense of this card each time a spell card is activated. I don't see why. It just doesn't seem like a very good card. Now we have Naturia Ragweed. I don't know what... I'm getting Day of the Tentacle vibes from the shape of the head. But it's just the ragweed just enjoying the day out in the sun. And now...
Light exploded in the back.
Who knows? That might have been the worm meteor. Now we have Naturia Rock. He's gonna grab you with those grabby hands. But of course this is rock, not cliff, so he's probably like a foot tall. Imagine this thing running at you.
I'd rather not.
And falling over because he's too fat. Now we have Naturia Marin. It's Karibo.
Oh, it is Karibo.
Much cuter than any other Karibo. Much cuter than any of the air quotes cute Karibos they've tried to make.
Cute Karibos?
Oh, don't worry. We'll eventually... We'll see all of the Karibos eventually, someday.
I'd rather not.
Naturia Fruit Fly. Get it? It's a fly. And it's made of fruit.
It looks so, like, sad.
It just this is my life. I spend every... I'm based off a fly, but I'm made of fruit, so I can eat fruit. And then we have Naturia Butterfly. Who's like a typical woman looking at herself in the mirror.
Oh, not like this quirky man, am I right?
Exactly. Naturia Rose Whip. That's delving into territory that I don't want to delve into.
Let's skip this one.
This is Yandere plant. Oh no. I just saw what's after this one. Naturia Stink Bug. After this one.
Ooh. Stink bug.
This is just a bug made of plant. But now we have Naturia Eggplant.
What?
It's a wasp. It stings you with the eggplant.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I hate it. And now we have Naturia Cosmo Beat. He's having a good time. Keep this one in mind for later, Dennis. Just like Gen X Spare, if you want your heart to be destroyed.
Oh, no, please don't do it.
And Naturia Tulip. It's another plant
like
humanoid. Naturia Sunflower.
Ah, he's chilling.
He's chilling with his leaves that almost have the shape of human feet. Naturia Antjaw, who has like a sunflower seed. Wait, a sunflower seed?
Oh, no.
That's kidnapper. And now we have the Naturia Beans. There's so much going on here. The three brothers.
I like the bottom right one is just like...
Just what the fuck are you doing? Now we have Naturia Pineapple. He doesn't know what's going on.
It's gonna roll down.
Naturia Vein. It's just... Ugh. Why does he look like a duck? Next we have Naturia Mosquito. This is bugs and plants, you get it. Naturia Cherries. Again with the human faces. I don't like it.
I've seen this one before as well. I don't know where though.
Sent from the field to the graveyard by the opponent. Well, this one is specifically for Naturia.
Might be just random Naturia deck.
Although this seems like a modern version of the worms. Shit. No, not those worms. The other worms. The giant worms from early Yu-Gi-Oh!
The worms or the worms?
Or the Nimble Now we have Naturia Ladybug, which is covered in moss because they've never opened their wings. Lazy shit. Now we have the synchros before we have the summons. The summons? The fusions. Naturia Beast.
Oh hey, it's Woodsman.
Looks kind of... It's oh no, it's Woodsman's persona. But
Woodsman's like, meet my pet cat.
this has like the smarmy cat face. Like that's the impression I get. Just oh yes. And then we have Naturia Barkion, the wooden stone dragon. Because every archetype has to have dragons. Every single one of them.
But this one's a Chinese dragon.
Yeah. Then we have Naturia Landois.
It looks like it just woke up.
It's just... I doubt the thing goes to sleep. It probably just spends every waking moment doing nothing because it does so little. And he just... It's Eeyore.
Tortoises can live up to 200 years and now enjoy a minute of it.
This actually reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. And now the leader of the Naturia Leodrake, who is the...
I saw this one before as well.
Who is the only Naturia creature to actually survive until the last arc.
Oh.
I don't like how he looks. He looks better in all of his forms that come later, which you'll see eventually, but like this, I don't like how big his head is.
Yeah.
And how big his feet is. But the final monster...
And the tail.
The final monster for this episode of the Shotpost Shiw, or the Shitpost Show as we really mean, is the fusion between Naturia Beast and Naturia Barkion, Naturia Exterio. He's just wearing him. That's... I mean, can you complain?
It's like when Neos wore Ubel stuff.
Yeah, this is just... But Barkion appears to be... No, is it Barkion? Yeah, Barkion still appears to be fine. He's just being worn. It's not even like wearing the corpse. Because Naturia is too wholesome for that, Dennis. And now that this episode is over, I'll leave you on Cosmo Beat, the best Naturia monster. So Dennis,
Jam to the beat.
So Dennis, are you aware of all these things now and ready to delve into the story next week? Possibly, probably not.
No.
Because we still have how many archetypes left from the introduction ones? We have. Oh well, just Flamvel. We can get to the other ones after. So we'll get a bit of the story next time after Flamvel.
Yeah.
But next time's Flamvel, and this is from me, James, and Dennis, because Dennis will not let me forget that I said this.